So, how do I solve these equations with all these variables? I'm glad you asked. It's your girl Tiffany from Tiffany's Tutoring and Consulting LLC, and I'm guiding you through these education streets. These are literal equations. And how do you solve them? I'm going to show you now. Literal equations are equations that have more than one different type of variable. You see them in Algebra 1, but you also see them in SAT, ACT standardized tests. So, the first thing I want to do is figure out what variable am I solving for. And in this case, let's solve for W, okay, the width. Perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width of a rectangle. Rectangle. It's a very popular formula to be used for literal equations. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to help you out a little bit. I'm going to bring this line over. It's going to help you separate your equation. Okay. Again, I'm solving for W. So W is over here. So if I look at P, I don't need to move P because P is already on the other side of the equal sign. And the way I used to tell students when I was in the classroom is that the variable I'm isolating has the power. So everything else has to go. So I need to move the 2L and then the 2 that's in front of the W. Which one do I move first? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to move that 2L because the 2L is furthest from the W, but it's still on the same side. So it has to go. All right, I'm going to do inverse operations. Now, some students will say, oh, I'm going to divide because they see the 2 and the L. No, no, no. You're going to actually do the inverse of addition because you're looking at 2L as a whole being added to 2W. So the inverse of addition is good old subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 2L from both sides. Subtraction property of equality is what I'm using. Okay. That's going to give me P minus 2L. What is P minus 2L? It's just P minus 2L. There's nothing else I can do. 2L minus 2L is obviously 0, and I don't have to write that, and then I bring down my 2W. Look, we're almost done, guys. You see, it's not that bad. It's just a lot of letters. So now I'm going to go ahead and solve for the W. 2 and W are coefficients and variables, which means it's multiplication. Multiplication is the only major operation that does not require a symbol. So the inverse of multiplication, or the opposite, is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. I don't have to write the 1 because 1 times anything is itself. All right. And then I can just bring everything down. Am I done? Yes, you are. But you go further? You can. You can go further if you need to. Okay, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Boom. P over 2 minus, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So L. So either answer is acceptable to solve for W. Okay, that wasn't that bad. So look at this next formula, area of a trapezoid. And on this case, I want you to solve for B2. So pause the video and solve for B2. Okay, I'm glad y'all are back. Now let's go ahead and solve for B2. So we're going to go ahead and bring our line over so that we can use it to separate our equation out. All right, good, great. So now let's go ahead and solve for B2. So I know that area should not be moved because it's already on the other side of the equal sign. I need to move the half, the height, and B1. B1 and B2 are together though, so what's going to happen? Let's talk about that a little bit later. Let's move the half and the H first. All of these are being multiplied together. So the inverse of multiplication is, guess what, division. If you got this to this point, great. Now, there are other ways of doing this problem, but this is just the way that I did it. Okay. Now, that 1 divided by the half, oh, that could get ugly, right? So let's kind of take this over to the side. 1 divided by 1/2. Now, I don't like keep change flip because most kids don't really know how to do it. So we're going to look at division as multiplying by the inverse. So I'm bringing that 1 over 1 down, just turn it into a fraction. And the reciprocal, I'm sorry, the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 over 1. So it's the reciprocal, not the inverse. Then I multiply that together as 2 over 1. That's just 2. So it actually ends up being 2a over h. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and let me erase this out the way so that it doesn't bother what we're doing. And again, that is division is multiplying by the reciprocal. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bring down what's left because those two cancel out. Anything divided by itself is 1, and that gives me B1 plus B2. You might be like, wait a minute, whoa, what happens to parentheses? I can drop those parentheses because that's the only term that's left here. Now, if you look, it actually is not that bad because B1 is the only thing that's left. Now, B1 is just a subscript. So please don't try to separate those. That's just like if I were saying M or N or anything else. So these are being added. What's the opposite of addition? You got it, subtraction. So I'm going to subtract B1 from both sides. And that's going to leave me B2. Now, this is real ugly, but this is what it is. And that is my final answer. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions or comments or concern, leave them below in the video, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, y'all. Peace.